Hello, my name is Colin Newton. I'm an educational psychologist, and today I'd like to talk to you about movement differences and accommodations for movement differences. So many of us know children and young people whose bodies just don't do what they want them to do, and often we've got that real strong instinct. We want to save them, don't we? We want to throw one of these to them and just save the day. If only it was that simple. We just throw one of these at them, it'll all be great. And then they'd get hold of that, and their bodies would still, they'd be lovely and calm, and everything would be fine for them. If only it was that simple. What we do know, it isn't always that straightforward for children. And a number of children, especially autistic children, or children who pick up the ADHD label, or have other kinds of movement issues, struggle in all kinds of ways with their bodies. So they may struggle to keep still. They may struggle to do a range of things. And the movement differences research that came out of America, and Donnellan and Martha Leary, is absolutely tremendous. And we'd point you directly to their source materials, to their books, and we've got links from our website on that, which we'll add a link to at the top here. So you can read more about it. But it's really interesting stuff, and we found it really fresh when we first discovered about it. That there was a whole other way of thinking about the body and inhabiting a body, and also this helps us be creative then when we're trying to support a child's inclusion who maybe is struggling with their own body. So basically, what it means is children have struggled to stop making movements. They can struggle to start initiating something. They can struggle to switch from one activity to another. They may have trouble executing a complex movement, like riding a bike or going on a scooter, or of course speaking, the most complex movement of all. Or maybe continuing. They can start an action, but they cannot really continue it. They just maybe can make a mark on a page, but they can't actually continue to kind of write what they need to write. And if you think about it, you watching this will have difficulties yourself with your body, with movement at times. So think of things you yourself struggle to actually start doing. Maybe it's that report, you just don't want to write it really. Maybe it's that big pile of ironing, you just can't get to it. Maybe it's that pile of dishes, you can't bring yourself to start really getting stuck in with it. So we all know what that feels like. And also you might think for yourself, well, what actually helps me get started? And that's quite interesting, isn't it? And stopping is another one. Some of us will struggle to stop doing some things. I really struggle to stop looking at my phone, particularly emails. I'm forever looking for the next email coming in. I don't really want to do that, but I will what will look like obsessively look at the phone for that email coming through. Or if I list something on eBay, well, I'm looking at that virtually all the time to see whether there's been some kind of response. Not really very helpful. Both, so they're starting and they're stopping, and you'll have your own starting and stopping difficulties. Equally, things you struggle to execute smoothly. You may find, things get a bit stuck for you in certain movements. You maybe struggle to be smooth. I've never been able to throw a ball very well, and yet my son, he's really, really good at throwing a ball. He could throw a stone, crikey, it would go a long, long kind of way, or a cricket ball. Whoa, it would go for absolute ages. If I throw, I'll just get this apple to throw. Look, if I throw this ball here, and I don't know what am I doing wrong here. So I throw it, and it just there's a really good example, a rubbish throw. So I've never got that down. I've never got that smooth throwing movement. That's an execution difficulty, isn't it? That's an execution problem. Speaking, as you can see, I'm doing fine, although I am using my hands to help me do the movements. What's that's all about? I don't know. Which brings me into the world of accommodations, things we do for ourselves to help us stop, things we do for ourselves to help us start doing things, and things we do to help us execute, continue, switch, and so on. We've all learned some strategies. If you watch kind of advanced sports people, either running to do maybe a high jump, or maybe about to take a golf swing, with a bit of a jiggle thing kind of going on. All these kind of rugby players who do a whole load of fancy things with the ball before they kick it, these really elite tennis players who've got little rituals and things they have to do before they can even take a single stroke of the tennis racket. Isn't this interesting? These are people at the top end of their game with movement, and yet they're doing a whole range of what looks quite ritualistic or strange kind of stylized movements to enable them to carry out what they're going to carry out. So when we think about including and working with children with the most complex bodies and movements, who struggle to speak, to struggle to move smoothly, who do unpredictable things or kind of get stuck and they can't move on, or forever speaking and they won't be quiet, or forever moving and they won't stop, all the kind of extremes, we maybe need to remember some of this stuff about movement difference, that they are within bodies, just like we're within bodies. So really the job is being as creative as we can be around building accommodations with that child, with that young person, that will work for them. And obviously the more minds on that, the better. If we can just start with a conversation with that young person, if they can use words or however they're communicating. Sometimes we need to bring in other minds to play on this, really, to think about how we can help them with their movement differences. A lovely little mantra that comes from Anne Dolan and Martha Leary is simply these three statements: you're okay. Would you like some support to get organised with this? And now let's just figure it out. Let's create a plan together. So how easy is that, really? So you're okay. Would you like some support to get organised with some of that, your movement stuff? And let's build a plan together. So as simple as that, really. And now let's get really creative around that and see where that leads us to. And that may lead to some quite interesting things, because we're probably in the world of rhythm, musical rhythm. Might be in the world of shoulder touch. You might be or elbow touch. You might be around sounds. You might be around familiar people being very close to you, being another child or another adult helping you do something or stop doing something, and so on and so on. Really, this is just as creative as you want to be. But you're going to be thinking about rhythm, of sound, of sights, of smells. All the kind of sensory world gets involved in this, and people do as well. People doing a whole range of wacky things or just kind of ordinary things. The more creative, the better. And then you've got a lovely set of accommodations that will make things go much, much more smoothly. Movement differences. So much more could be said. You'll find a load of stuff on the website. If you'd like more of this, please add a comment. If you've liked this video, give us a like. If you want more, subscribe. Thank you very much. Great talking to you.